I'm very pleased to be present today with my colleagues from Ireland and from the Netherlands to have an exchange with you. Because the world is changing every day, changing quicker than in the past, and we have to adapt ourselves from our side, from your side, from every side of the world. I'm working for Valipack, and Valipack is a producer responsibility organization. I don't know if you have already heard about the terminology of producer responsibility, but we represent the producers, and we have to prove that the product they have put on the Belgian market, Irish market, and the Dutch market have been collected and recycled. So in my case, I'm working for 6,000 companies. They report every year the tonnage they put on the Belgian market, and I have to prove that their waste, their packaging in this case, once it becomes a waste, has been collected and recycled. It's quite a challenge because we are talking about packaging, but there are other EPR schemes for other product or other kind of waste, like end-of-life vehicles, mattresses, tires, oils, electric appliances, and batteries. Today, when we talk about recycling of plastics, export is still possible, and it's a reality. But the rules are changing, and it's important for you, as for us, to understand what are the new rules and how do we adapt ourselves to keep on having business together. So that's the purpose of our presentation today, because the rules are changing and the main change comes from the waste shipment regulation. The waste shipment regulation is a new law in Europe, defined by the European Union, which has been voted and will be implemented from 2026, with major consequences, major changes. The first one is actually our main challenges. It's to guarantee the full traceability of the collected waste. So when it's collected in Belgium, we have to trace the waste until the recycling destination in Belgium, in Europe, but also in Turkey or in Asia. We also have a major change from November 27, meaning the export ban. From that moment, it won't be possible for European exporters to export plastic to non-OECD countries. Turkey is a member of OECD, there's not a problem, but it will have major consequences for countries in Asia because they are not part of the OECD. So for exporters in Europe, it won't be possible anymore to export plastic waste to these countries, like Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia. It will be not allowed here, and it will have major consequences on the market. Notification will be mandatory for OECD countries. So the administrative procedure for export will be a little bit more complex, and Europe will monitor this change, will monitor the evolution and the impact of this new regulation. And if they see that it generates major consequences, negative consequences on the market, they may adapt the regulation by adding new countries on the list of the export ban. It may have consequences for countries like Turkey. The final major changes is related to the independent audit. If we want to export, we will be allowed to export. It will be still possible, but the destination, the final recycling destination, will need a certificate, will need to be audited before allowing the export of the plastic waste and the waste in general, because it's not only relative to plastic. So no positive audit means no export anymore from 2027. So it is tomorrow. Today, we decided in Europe with some countries to join forces, because when we execute an audit, for instance, in the final destination, we know that the recycling facility receives material from Belgium, but also material from Ireland and from the Netherlands, or from other European countries. So it makes sense to join forces and to collaborate to develop a traceability system, but also to execute audits. So Valipack Belgium, Verpact in the Netherlands, Valorlux in Luxembourg, Repack in Ireland, And I won't pronounce the name of our Icelandic partner, but it's the Icelandic Recycling Fund. We are small countries working already together and looking for more support from other European countries. We have meeting with France, we have meeting with Germany, and hopefully they will join our collaboration in the coming weeks or the coming months. Because altogether, these 5 countries, we represent 100,000 tons of plastic recycled. So we have a lot of potential in the collaboration with recycling facilities, and we want still to get the good partner in the recycling for this tonnage. At the moment, we already have executed audits. In Turkey, for instance, we have already executed 54 audits. And these audits cover altogether 82% of the delivered quantities to the market, to the Turkish recycling facilities. So we need to increase the number of audits, but at the end of the day, today in any way, we already reach a certain volume covered by an audit. We prepare the next regulation. First of all, when we talk about traceability of the waste on export is only possible if we work together with the traders, the exporters. And here we mentioned the 6 of the main traders we are working with. Some of them are here in the room. We really want to thank them for the collaboration because they are the ones who are taking care of the waste, sending it to the Turkish recycling facilities. We do not that. The exporter does that. And they deliver us the name and address of the facilities where the Belgian, the Dutch, the Irish waste have been delivered. So the collaboration is first of all the key. Second, we already executed audits, as mentioned, and this is not done by Valipack. We work together with SGS at the moment. In the future, we may involve other third parties auditor, but we developed the audit protocol based on the European legislation, and the audit are executed by SGS. We want to prepare our business to 2026, 2027, because it will be too late if we wake up in November 27 or in May 27 by saying, oh, I need an audit. No, you need to prepare that, because based on our experience, the first audit may identify some major problem which will need to be solved by the time the regulation will be implemented. And for us, from our side, if we reach these three first points, it will help us to guarantee the achievement of the recycling targets. Because these are legal targets we have to reach and to prove to the authorities. If we don't, we have penalties. The control, the audit at the recycling facilities are defined by the European regulation. But we put here on the slide some of the major elements we control and some of the elements we know it can generate some problem. License, and to import and to process the plastic waste, that's the basics of the requirements. The safety condition, the working condition, we pay a lot of attention to identify the good procedures in place at the recycling facilities, like personal protective equipment, fire extinguisher, medicine kits, and then. But the 3 last points are a little bit more technical, but remain very important, like the water waste treatment installation, taking care of the hazardous waste which are being used, taking place of the treatment of the water, avoiding that the used water are rejected in the environment without any correct treatment. Air emissions are also controlled. And the last point I want to mention today is the treatment of the residual waste and the production waste. If there is no guarantee that any piece of impurities still present in the bale coming from Europe are correctly treated in Turkey, we may have a problem with the European authorities, so it's part of the audit and the requirement. Unfortunately, at the moment, I mentioned we already have executed 54 audits in Turkey. We have, at the moment, 5 red flags. So 5 recycling facilities which are not complying with the minimal requirement we defined and which have been defined by the European authorities. Most of the time, the major problem we identify are related to no proof of recycling. We cannot prove that the delivered quantities have been recycled by the existing facility. We identified some problem with child labor. We also see illegal site, no license, or activities, serious breach in the environmental management of the company, of cases where the recycling facility say, no, I don't want your visit, I don't want to be transparent, I want to keep the way I'm working for myself, you don't have to say anything. In this case, we also identify this company as a red flag, and we ask the trader we are working with to stop any kind of collaboration. The recycling facility has, well, the possibility to solve this major problem and ask a re-audit, where we can prove that the major problem has been solved. So it's not fatal, it can be improved and it can be solved. So our point, and we will discuss that later on with you, and you can, we will be very pleased to have your question, but make sure that your company, if you still want to process material from Europe, make sure that you comply with the new regulation. Accept the audit, be transparent, and it will give, for sure at the moment, but also in the future, to your company a major competitive advantage. Thanks a lot for your attention. Three of us are very pleased to exchange a little bit more on that regulation, and I look forward to listen to your questions.